Hi, it's Alan from SpinX Vitality. Today, we're going to uncover how the bravery of 5 young men helped change the course of history and how one of those brave young men, Professor Stephen Williams, is single-handedly responsible for changing the lives of many, most importantly, me. The backstory is Stephen was expelled from 3 public high schools in Westchester, New York. He was kicked out of his house and forced to live with his aunt and uncle in New York City, where he enrolled in the high school where I was a phys ed teacher. The first day Stephen enrolled at my high school, he was fortunately placed in my PE class and introduced himself to me as a blue belt at Renzo Gracie Academy. Stephen was 17 years old at the time and the only under 18 that was allowed to train in the adult class at Renzo Gracie. Little did I know what that meant, and I soon found out. He asked me if I could condition him for his next BJJ competition, and I humbly said I was not familiar with BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's when Stephen began to show signs of an exceptional leader. He handed me a flyer for a BJJ conditioning seminar for coaches, and I went to this weekend seminar and learned all about conditioning for BJJ and the requirements. It was mind-blowing. Upon returning to school that Monday, we began a 16-week conditioning program with maybe 10 other kids who wanted to learn and condition BJJ with Stephen as the coach and me as the conditioning coach. We formed a team. Stephen and I formed a team. It was a bond that was incredible. I purchased many of the equipment at the end of the weekend seminar in New Jersey. I brought that out to the school, and Stephen picked out which equipment and which exercises he wanted to do. Stephen designed the BJJ instruction using those 10 students, and we integrated conditioning during each 90-minute after-school workout. Stephen had the kids drill and drill and drill live training over and over again each Monday through Thursday, and on Friday, I have to laugh at this one, we would invite the toughest kids, the worst kids in school to fight BJJ with Stephen and the others. That's a story in itself. Those kids became our human body bags. They were the sparring partners. They were the guys that got the shit kicked out of them. And how good and a testament to conditioning was that Stephen and I designed. It was a partnership between Stephen and myself. Stephen took over the class, the after-school program, as if he was a veteran coach of 20 years. My mind was blown once again, and I didn't believe Stephen was a poster child for a bad kid. In fact, the 3 schools that he was expelled from failed to understand the individual needs of students, but we won't go there. Fast forward. After 16 weeks, they signed up for the BJJ competition. Stephen was 17 years old and competed and chose on Saturday to compete in the men's division, which is age 18 to 29. Now, the men's division consisted of high school and college wrestlers that continued to wrestle, wrestling coaches, and really tough guys with tattoos and bent ears. They had the cauliflower ears. Stephen had competed before, and he had some experience. Usually at a BJJ competition, each competitor has between 3 and 5 matches, depending on the division. Unfortunately, or fortunately, Stephen had 5 matches in his division because it was stacked, as they say. Now, if you're a fan of the John Wick franchise, you'll know that when a contract was placed on John Wick, his line was, "I'll kill him. I'll kill them all." When Stephen's name was being called on Saturday for the men's division as a 17-year-old kid, the other students and myself were saying good luck to him as he was stepping on the mats for his first match. Stephen had that look on his face, the same look that John Wick had. "I'll submit him. I'll submit them all." And he submitted all 5 opponents and won first place in the men's division, winning a gold medal and a samurai sword. Here is a photo of Stephen in the middle against these men. These were wrestling coaches and jiu-jitsu coaches in a no-gi submission tournament, and there's Stephen, proud as shit, holding up his sword and his medal. I'll submit him. I'll submit them all. And he did. Sunday was the underage 18 competition, and Stephen was the corner man for the other 4 students. As you can tell from the photos, those kids got either first or second place with only 16 weeks of BJJ lessons, which is to be considered amazing. In the corner, Julian, second place. Down here, Justin, second place. And Mario and Jose tied for first, but one took first, one took second. It didn't matter. These brave kids, these 5 brave young men, Stephen, Julian, Justin, Mario, and Jose, all dominated their divisions. We continue to train BJJ after school and condition for the remainder of that school year, 2005-2006. There it is, 2005-2006. We went to New Jersey. We went to Rhode Island. We went upstate New York. And all those students for the next 3 competitions, including Stephen, got either first or second and got medals and samurai swords. At the end of that school year, 2005-2006, summer came and we parted our ways. Now, fast forward. Hold on, need a water break. Put the teleprompter back. We parted ways. Fast forward to the next school year, 2006-2007, and Stephen and his 4 students encouraged me at the age of 53, 54, I can't remember, to compete. So I had to take lessons at BJJ Academy. I signed up under Sensei Josh Griffiths from Clockwork Jiu-Jitsu, which was 3 blocks near the high school that I was teaching at. I trained under Josh 6:30 in the morning. There were 4 or 5 other crazy, motherfucking sick-ass students that went at 6:30 in the morning. There was Russ, there was Clay, there was Red, there was Sebastian, and myself. Every once in a while we had Shinji come. And then we had another guy, Emilio. We trained for an hour on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, 6:30 a.m. I ran back to high school to train to teach PE, and at the end of the day, my school day, which I was being paid for by the New York City Board of Education, I volunteered my time and continued to train BJJ and condition with Stephen and those students. Here comes the tear-jerking story that when I read this and I say it, I get tears in my eyes. And I have to thank Stephen for lighting a candle and showing me the way so that I could sign up with Sensei Josh Griffiths and continue my 14 years of living the BJJ life. Let me repeat that. For the next 14 years, there was no way I would ever meet a guy like Stephen unless he got kicked out of those 3 high schools in Westchester, came to my school, and I met him. There's no way I'd meet him on my own because fate just doesn't work that way, but fate did. The universe brought us back together. Or brought us together. Within those 14 years, and here's the story that I have to thank Stephen and Josh for, I competed in 4 national jiu-jitsu competitions and earned a silver or bronze medal in my division, which was not age 53, 54, 55, but guys 12 to 15 years my junior. Yes, I fumbled before, but now I'm saying it correctly. With guys and opponents 12 to 15 years my junior. The only way, and the teleprompter has it right here, the only way I could have won those respective matches was because my conditioning was so superior to all the other athletes in my division. combined with the techniques I learned from Josh, thank you, that allowed me to execute flawless technique, that allowed me to submit my opponents when they got tired. When my opponents got tired. All of my opponents were technically better than me, but my conditioning was superior. No question about it. When an athlete gets tired in a competition, or gassed out as we say, no matter how good their skill is, they lose all hope, and their fate and their whole mentality crushes. They get gassed out and they quit. Mentally they quit. Once they get tired, and I took over and said, it's my time. All they want to do is tap out and go home and have lemon pie and milk. They can't handle it. I, on the other hand, came alive. During each 6-minute match, I was losing for the first 4 to 5 minutes. They were scoring points on me, sweeping me, an armbar attempt, triangle attempt. They couldn't get me. My defense was jugular. That means really good. And my conditioning was superior. I'm repeating myself, but I have to thank Stephen for designing and helping me design a conditioning program that today, anybody that goes through Spin X's 16-week conditioning, I guarantee one thing: you'll never gas out. You may get knocked out. You may get knocked out in an MMA fight. You may get tapped out in a jiu-jitsu competition. You will never gas out, and that might just be the determining factor and competitive advantage you need to win tournaments. And the best part of the 14 years training under Sensei Josh Griffiths is I met my soulmate training partner, Tom. We all know who that is. And we both had an incredible journey that nobody else, for those years, maybe 10 or 11, I lost count. I started a little before Tom. Let's say for 10 years, 1 decade, 1 motherfucking decade, 2 old bastards, Tom and I, trained together as soulmates, as brothers. We never gave up. We never quit. We learned after class. Today, Tom is a first-degree black belt, still teaching and training. I made it to first-degree black belt, but I'm recovering from my first total knee replacement, soon to be my second knee replacement. I don't know if I'm ever going to train jiu-jitsu again. I want to coach, and for sure, I'll be a conditioning coach, imparting what I learned over those 14 years to others to change their lives. Now, to continue along that path, thanks to Stephen and thanks to Josh, during those 14 years, I met a very unusual man. Another man so unlikely to cross paths with me and me to cross his path. Me to cross his path is Angel Adorno, who is now a 55-year-old visually impaired blue belt under Josh Griffiths at Clockwork Jiu-Jitsu in New York City, where I just retired from. Angel is a 3-time medalist in cited competitions. Hold on, let me get a drink of water because you probably didn't hear me. Get my teleprompter up? Yes, Angel is a 3-time medalist in cited competitions. Along with Josh teaching Angel, I took it under myself to take Angel under my wing and mentor him. We formed a non-profit, not-for-profit foundation called No Limits Jiu-Jitsu Foundation, whose sole purpose is to raise money to teach the visually impaired, like Angel, and veterans with disabilities to change their lives. Now you can see, going backwards to when 2005, Stephen Williams was kicked out of 3 high schools. Hope you don't beat me up, Stephen, for saying this. You got to catch me first. Won't be too easy. Won't be too hard with a bad knee. Walked into my school and changed the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, because Angel Adorno, who is co-founder of No Limits Jiu-Jitsu with myself, will and is changing 1,000 other visually impaired and veterans with disabilities. You see how it starts here and goes all the way. There's no end game. There's no end game to what Angel will do. In conclusion, fate brought Stephen, myself, Julian, Justin, Mario, and Jose, all these brave young men together, and those 5 heroes are actually responsible for igniting and allowing me to live the Jiu-Jitsu lifestyle for 14 years. You all think I'm crazy. I don't have bent ears. I don't have tattoos. I still got guns. I still got my physique. I have the knowledge of 14 years of training, reaching the level of first-degree black belt and a master conditioning coach that I plan on training and changing the lives of another 1,000, aside from Stephen changing his group and Angel changing his group. It never would have happened. I thank everybody involved, starting with these 5 students, these 5 heroes, all the way to Josh, to Tom, to Angel, and myself. If you want to see Stephen today, go to YouTube and Google Professor Stephen Williams. Professor Stephen Williams. He has an unbelievable YouTube. He coaches MMA. He might have hit professional status, a 4-0 record for MMA fights. He's the real deal. He's the youngest black belt ever to get a black belt to Renzo Gracie under John Danaher. So Google or YouTube his channel. If you want to read about my journey, I wrote a few different books about the BJJ lifestyle that I'm fortunate to live for the past 14 years. Just Google Alan Spindell, that's me, Alan Spindell, Amazon books, and see what's out there. Stay blessed, my friends, and follow your dream. Find a passion, find a hobby, master it, perfect it, stand still long enough, the world will come to you and people will pay you for it. I kid you not. It works. Stay blessed.